Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're skipping the basics. We are opening up the advanced playbook, the one for that last bit of stubborn fat that just will not leave. So if you feel like you've been doing everything right and you're still stuck, you're in the right place. This is for you. Okay, let's just get right into it, because this is super frustrating, right? You're eating clean, you're exercising, but that belly fat is holding on for dear life, and the scale just isn't moving. It's that classic plateau. So the real question is why? Why does this happen? And more importantly, what can we actually do to break through? So here's our game plan for today. We'll do a super quick recap of the foundations, the non-negotiables, and then we're diving straight into the 5 advanced strategies. Managing your inner state, targeting the real root cause, doing the right kind of exercise, and finally using what might be the ultimate fat-burning tool. All right, before we get to all the new stuff, let's just make sure our foundation is rock solid. Think of these as the 5 rules that absolutely have to be in place for any of the other advanced stuff to even work. Now, the key here isn't just to check these boxes. It's to understand why they work together. You know, you're keeping carbs low to get into ketosis, of course, but you're choosing fatty proteins and not lean ones to keep your insulin nice and low. You're using good dietary fats so you can fast longer without feeling miserable. You're getting your key nutrients so you actually feel good. And maybe most importantly, you're finding treats that make this whole thing sustainable for the long haul. Okay, so let's move on to our first advanced strategy. And this is where we start talking about the silent saboteurs. The 2 things that can bring your progress to a screeching halt, even if your diet is perfect. And that's stress and sleep. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. That quote really gets to the core of it. When you are chronically stressed out, your body pumps out a hormone called cortisol. And what cortisol can do is actually take the protein from your own body, like from your muscles, turn it into sugar, which then can get stored, you guessed it, as belly fat. So you could be eating 0 sugar, but your body is making its own because of stress. It's a total saboteur. And this means you have to be proactive. You can't just passively try to relax. You have to take real action. You know, this might mean literally avoiding certain people or turning off the news. Instead, go get lost in a project, do some physical work, or just take a really long walk out in nature. These things actively lower your cortisol levels. And here's where it gets really nasty. You see this toxic relationship between stress and sleep. High stress wrecks your sleep, but then not sleeping well raises your cortisol even more, which leaves you exhausted and craving all the wrong things. It's this vicious cycle that basically locks fat storage in place. You have to break this cycle. It's non-negotiable. Now this is a total game changer. We always think we're burning fat when we're in the gym, sweating it out. But the truth is, the vast majority of fat is burned while you are sleeping. That's when your body is in repair mode. Honestly, prioritizing an extra 30 or 60 minutes of sleep can do way more for your fat loss than an extra hour in the gym. Okay, so you're managing your stress, you're getting your sleep, but what if you're still stuck? Well, now we have to dig deeper and go after the core physiological reason your body is fighting you. So, meet the real villain of the story, insulin resistance. Here's the best way to think about it. Insulin is like the key that unlocks your cells to let energy in. But with insulin resistance, it's like your cells have changed the locks. So insulin is knocking on the door, but nobody's answering. And if the key doesn't work, your body can't easily get to your stored body fat for fuel. And that's why you feel stuck. But here's the good news. You can make your cells listen to insulin again. And here's a specific toolkit to do it. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and water before a meal. It really helps. Sprinkling cinnamon on your food does something similar. And then there are supplements like chromium, vitamin D, and B1 that are known to help. Plus, getting enough potassium from, say, big salads and electrolyte powders. These are the tools that help fix the lock so insulin can do its job. All right, let's talk about exercise. Because when it comes to stubborn fat, it's not about endless cardio. It's about training in a very specific way to create the perfect hormonal response for fat burning. So the formula is a powerful 1-2 punch. First, you've got high-intensity anaerobic workouts. We're talking short, all-out bursts that push you to the point of muscle soreness. The whole point of this is to trigger a massive release of fat-burning growth hormone. Then, on your rest days, you switch to low-intensity stuff, like long walks or a light bike ride. This is for recovery without adding more stress. And please, remember this. The magic happens during recovery, not during the workout itself. That muscle soreness is your signal that growth hormone is working. If you go and hit the gym again too soon, you're just interrupting that whole process, and you basically cancel out the benefit. So in this playbook, rest is not laziness, okay? It's strategy. And now we've arrived at the final and maybe the most powerful strategy for absolutely shattering a plateau. This goes way beyond your normal daily intermittent fast. 48. According to Dr. Berg, the single most effective tool you can use to break through stubborn fat is a periodic, prolonged fast. And the magic number is 48 hours. A 48-hour fast basically hits the reset button on your metabolism. It causes a dramatic drop in insulin, which is huge for reversing insulin resistance. It forces your body to get really good at burning its own fat for fuel. You can start by doing one every couple of weeks and maybe build up to once a week. Just make sure you are supporting yourself with plenty of electrolytes and B vitamins. This quote right here, this might be the single most important mindset shift in this entire playbook. Once you're truly fat adapted, your hunger often just disappears. And the biggest mistake you can possibly make is to ignore that beautiful signal and eat just because the clock says it's lunchtime. You have to flip the script in your head. When you're not hungry, that is a massive win. It means your body is successfully living off its own fat. Why on earth would you interrupt that beautiful process with food? You have to learn to listen to your body, not the clock. A lack of hunger means the program is working perfectly. And that's really the final thought here. What if it's not about obsessing over what you eat, but embracing the power of when you don't eat? By managing stress and sleep, by targeting insulin resistance, exercising smarter, and strategically fasting, you can finally unlock that next level of fat loss. Thanks for joining this explainer.